Good morning, everyone. I think we'll go ahead and get started. I kind of waited a few extra minutes to give everybody a chance to come in and join. I appreciate you joining this webinar on both Scratch and Tinkercad. It looks like we've got some high school teachers here today, a director of CTE and a STEM director, as well as some middle school teachers. So I'm going to try to get this so that it fits this particular audience as best as I can, because I know we have different needs. I really appreciate you all being here, and I appreciate you being out there working with your students during kind of this crazy time of distance learning. The first thing I want to go over with you is if you do have a question during the webinar, feel free to go to the chat bar, which is in your GoToMeeting selections there at the bottom. There's one that says chat, and I typed in there and just said welcome to the webinar. So hopefully you can see that. Also, you do have a handout in here that is going to be showing you how to use Scratch as far as setting up a classroom account. So the handout is also there to the right for you to use. If for some reason you can't find any of these things, that's okay, because following the webinar, there will be a survey that will come to you and you can ask your questions there. And I'm pretty good about getting back to you right away if there's anything within the webinar or additional information that you would like. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about how to use Scratch and Tinkercad with distance learning. And what's so great about this is students are looking for fun things to do during this time. And with Scratch, I have it up on my screen, and what I have here is a teacher account. And some of you may not know that there is such a thing. When you set up an account with Scratch, so you would go to scratchmit.edu, you would simply click on Educate or Educators, and it is going to ask you some questions. And then once you ask the questions, within like 3 minutes, you're going to receive an email like this. And what's nice about this is it's going to give you some information on additional things you can do with Scratch. But then what's so nice is here you can set up classes and you can kind of monitor what your students are doing. So a lot of teachers did not know that this was something that they can do. You can see that there's educator resources, there's a teacher FAQ, and so there's a lot of neat things for teachers if you do set up a teacher account. Tinkercad also has something similar, of which you can have a teacher account and you can see what your students are doing. Now, what I'm recommending for you is so that you can have the fullest amount of access to Tinkercad and Scratch. Right now, what STEMFuse is doing is we have a series right now. It's called the STEMit series. And the STEMit series is actually part of a larger pathway that we offer. But currently right now, you can definitely get an account, of course, at no cost to you during this time of distance learning. And here, let me just show you kind of how this works. So because all of you are middle school, high school teachers, this is the pathway that STEMFuse has for CTE. So you can see that here's the middle school courses in orange, and then the high school are in this kind of mustard yellow. But the STEMit series is right here. And what this offers you is it's going to give you literally those 3D design step-by-step lesson plans and lessons, so your kiddos can do this from home. And I'm going to show you how that all ties in. And then, of course, we have all of these other pathways that we offer, whether it's business or computer science or game design. You can see that we have quite a few different offerings that, of course, if any of these sound interesting, we could also put into your account. But I'm just going to go back to this. So let's just say that you are a high school teacher. What I'm proposing that I send you, and this is just to make Tinkercad easier, is you can see that now you would have access to all of these different content areas that you could use Tinkercad from distance learning. So let's just say that you're a business teacher, and I'm just going to click on one of the lessons. Within here, you see there is this 3D print lesson, and I'm just going to click on this so you can see. What this is going to do for you is it's going to give you many different lessons to teach students the different aspects of Tinkercad. So each one of these lessons, they're going to be learning how to do different things. And I get that they can't print this right now, but what's really nice about students learning 3D design from home is for one, they're looking for things to do. For two, this is going to give them the skills they need. So when they do come back to the classroom next year and you do want them to do 3D printing, they're going to be very, very comfortable with this. Students, of course, are very intuitive. They're able to catch on to these things quite quickly. And so what STEMFuse has done for you is we literally tell the kids how to set up a Tinkercad account. There's even a little video to assist them. And then what it's going to do is it's going to provide, especially for your students maybe that struggle with reading, you can see that there's great big pictures here showing them what to do. The directions on what to do are here. So this is kind of like your lesson plan. And so if you are not familiar with Tinkercad and you would like some step-by-step lessons, a place to get started, this is really what I recommend for you, especially even as a teacher. If you're learning how to use Tinkercad, you can see that these directions are really nice, even for your ELL students who, like I said, maybe struggle with reading. There are these big pictures for them to help them with the step-by-step process. So that is something that I recommend that you do to get your students going with Tinkercad. So those lessons are, like I said, right within STEMFuse. And then if you are looking for additional STEM lessons, I know we have some STEM directors on here. There are some STEM lessons in here where the students can learn things before printing. So in this case, wearable technology. And what these lessons do is they take the students through the engineering design cycle, doing some higher level thinking and problem solving. And so these are some nice lessons. Again, you can see that you can use this via distance learning because this will work on any device, including the students' phones. Right now, some students just have telephones. So this would be an added bonus that you can have. Now, another thing about Tinkercad is that Tinkercad right now is having a distance learning contest for teachers. And basically, they're really trying to encourage teachers to use Tinkercad during distance learning. And so you have until June 1st. And how you would enter is you would simply send them a lesson plan of which STEMFuse is saying, go ahead and use one of our lesson plans and send that. And then you would then send pictures of 3 students' work, whatever it is that they created. So this is another motivation for you as far as getting yourself to be using Tinkercad with distance learning. So how I recommend doing this, if you are using the STEMFuse lessons, you can do this in a couple ways. One, you can use your platform, whether it's Google Hangout or Zoom or Microsoft Teams, whatever your platform is that you're using. You could literally take your students to these lessons, and what you would do prior to that is you would set them up so that they can log in with a student account. Now, a student account looks different than a teacher account because in a teacher account, you're going to have these things with red apples on them. These are resources for the teacher. And to set up a student account is really easy within STEMFuse. You just simply are going to go to My Account. You're going to add a class. You're going to type in what you want to call it, whatever it is that you teach. And then you select your course. So if you're a high school teacher, you'd select high school. And then now you've set up a class. And then it's going to give you an access code to give your students. So they'll log in and then they will use that access code to get in. And then they simply can log in doing that. If you do want to use this, and you forget what I just showed you, that's okay. We have this Educate training library with videos on how to set up a class. So that's right there. And then also when you do get your account, there is a Start Here button. And underneath Start Here, the very first icon shows you the step-by-step screenshots of how to set up a class. So this is how you would give your students access so they could do this from home. So all the students need is some sort of a device. Like I said, they can use their phones, and also they would need the internet, because everything's done in the cloud. There's no, other than that, that's all they need. And what's nice about this, obviously, is they would need the internet to use Tinkercad or Scratch in general. So those are some things that STEMFuse offers for high school teachers and middle school teachers. As far as Scratch is concerned, if you wanted lessons in Scratch, we do offer that for the elementary teachers, and it's built right in. But my recommendation with Scratch is to get this teacher account, and then your students will access it. You would simply set up an account by hitting My Classes, and then it walks you through step by step how to set up a class. So here I can call it Mr. Smith's Science. And I could say this is a coding and STEM class. Add the class. And then it is, going to have you go ahead and set up the students in the class, or you can, if the students set up their own and save it, that's another way to do it. Otherwise, you can see you can add one student at a time, or you can do a CSV upload and upload multiple students at a time. So that is another nice feature of Scratch. So again, getting students involved with Scratch. Now, if you are in STEMFuse and you are an elementary teacher, I'll just show you what we have there for coding using Scratch. So in our coding lessons, it's basically going to show the students how to set up their own account in Scratch. It's first going to let them know what they're learning. It's going to walk them through step by step what they're learning in Scratch. And even if you are a middle school or high school teacher and you like these lessons and would want access to these, because basically students are creating games using Scratch, you definitely can request to have access. What's nice about these is you can see they're going to be learning some basic block coding. Here they're going to be actually using the video piece, and they're going to be making these balloons drop. It's really pretty cool. And then also, again, for those students that struggle with reading, we have videos that would go through step by step. So this is something, even if you are a middle school or high school teacher and you would like access to the coding lessons, you certainly may do that. What's nice about all of our materials is when you do set up a class, you have the ability to hide or make visible lessons. So let's just say you wanted to have the coding lessons in there and you didn't want to see the other lessons. You do have the ability to do that. So that is another option if you are middle school, high school, and you would like to get started with this, especially if you're a teacher and just wanting to familiarize yourself with Scratch. That would be another really good way to do that, just simply because it's all very step by step. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to step by step teach the students those 3 objectives that I showed you. They'll get to play their game. It's going to remind them of these 3 objectives. So using the video motion block extension, set video motion input sensitivity, change your Y position, etc. And then it's going to ask them to take it to the next level and apply that and do something at a higher level. So again, what I would encourage you to do if you're middle school, high school is say, okay, this is, pretend you're making a game for your younger brother or sister. Here are the steps. I'm getting you to learn Scratch. And then now I want you to make a more advanced game, save it to Scratch, and then in your teacher account, and then you as a teacher could go in and take a look at it. So that would be another way that you could utilize STEMFuse, since Scratch is what we include in our elementary. So I guess at this point, are there any questions that you have? If you do have a question, just go ahead and type that in that chat box there. I would love to be able to answer any questions that you might have. Okay, I see Angelina, you have a question, so I'm just going to unmute you and let you go ahead and ask your question. Hello, go ahead.
No, I don't have a question. I was just letting you know I was here. That's all.
Oh, okay, I saw the question mark. No worries. Okay, thanks. Any other questions? Okay, well, I hope this was helpful for you. And again, if you would like access to StemFuse, if you don't already have it, just make sure that you, when that survey comes up, that you ask for that, and I will definitely get you set up. So good luck, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate everything that you're doing. Have a great day.